Yo, bartender.
Bar's closed.
Hey, yo, bartender, what's good, man? Let me get a drink, man. Let me get a shot.
Hey, man, I know you just put up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you mean to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man, I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib, and I'm trying to get to it. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get you one drink, cause it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey, man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
All right, welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things I want to brought to you by is Minecraft. Yeah, we're going to change it up, man. Woo. I got to start bringing my boy more into this. Because this show is really about changing our whole appearance and things that we doing. And one of the things I want to say, I have to sponsor and I need to push it away from just what I do to the person that's sitting next to me. This man does great things to you, and all he wants you to do is take the time to take small surveys to figure out where you at so he can help you be where you need to be.
Absolutely.
So go to Minecraft Central. It got great things for you. It inspires you. It helps you. I excite you with the drama. He helps you with your mental. Minecraft. Woo. Now, I got to get back to the person that rock with me. That's right. I got to take my hat off to this man right here. I'll tell you right now. This man been rocking with me over 6 years and been doing great things ever since he been with me. And he comes into the studio each and every time with a smile. Craftmatic, how you doing tonight, big baby?
I'm doing great, Smooth J.
Woo, man, I know you've been through a lot, man, health-wise and everything else, man. I know you spend time, you do everything, and you keep coming here with a smile, man. Can you let the world know why?
It's my faith, man, and not to mention, I just don't take life all that serious, you know what I mean? I grew up with a jokester, prankster, my pops was always laughing, so I just got the spirit of laughter in me, man. You can't let the world's troubles keep you down. You gotta stay focused on your prize and who you are, and I got my mind focused on my goal, my purpose, and nothing gonna stop me from being joyous on the way there. You know what I mean?
I ain't mad at that.
Yeah, bro. So I'm doing fabulous tonight. How are you, Smooth J?
Man, let me tell you, I'm a jokester. I find ways to make myself laugh, let alone others. I'm tired of crying, and one of the things I want to do is evaluate myself to change myself, and then I make jokes about some of the things because I jokingly, honestly realize change is there. And then I joke about it before I can smile and not cry.
Yes.
So again, that's another reason why I smile, but mine is a little bit differently because I don't always have that smile. I gotta kind of think about it, and then I smile about it. Okay. So I inject it. But again, I'm trying to live more of a positive and a happy than a sad and depressed.
Yes, and I think that's a great way to introduce our show. This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth J.
In the building.
And we are here to liberate your minds and souls with a great dialogue. We're just going to sit here and chop it up on a subject tonight. Yes. And we believe that there is some form of healing happens when you talk things out and when you walk things out. And so as we talk tonight, we hope this can be kind of therapeutic for you sitting in your seat wherever you are, whatever time frame you're listening to this, because we want you to dial into what's happening and figure out what you would do. That's the most important part.
Yes.
How you would handle these situations, what you think, and what you're going to do the next time you encounter them. And so by growing during this conversation, you really put some bricks in your armor when you get to that situation in life,
Okay.
So we want y'all to just sit back, relax. Tonight we're going to talk about toxicity.
Ooh, Lord. Okay.
And it's something that we've all been dealing with, but, we haven't had a chance to talk about it. So, we're going to liberate your minds a little bit and how to deal and maybe potentially overcome some of the toxicity that you're dealing with here in life. Now, we always start the show off with a prayer. And I know Jay, would you like to do our prayer tonight?
Nah, man, go ahead, Pastor Craft. Go ahead. It's been a minute. Give it to him.
Anything in particular you got in mind, a general topic?
I don't have that much general, man. It's just right now, I think everybody needed because of what the world is going through.
Yeah.
With the technology, I think we need to still stay humble to his word.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just give it back to him in any fashion, form it comes to you, because I don't want technology to change what he already put in us.
Okay, and I don't know what's going to happen here, but let's just go with the flow of the Lord. Heavenly Father, we come to you right now, and we just thank you for your awesome power, for your love, and for your presence in our lives. We know that we are not anything without you, but with you we are all things. We ask, Heavenly Father, tonight that you would bless us in a special way in this word. We seem to be dealing with so many troubled situations and circumstances in life. We seem to be dealing with a lack of trust in this world on a macro and a micro level. We seem to not understand what the right action is and the right next step is for ourselves and for our families and for our future. It seems like the wolves are continuing to just cloud our space with troubles and with more fears and the anticipation of a bad and a sad and a horrible end. We ask that you would liberate our minds tonight, Lord, to overcome every adversary against our spirit. Take us to a great place in our minds so that we can live in that place in the world. We know, Father, that your way and your measure and your truth shall guide us. We believe in that guidance. We trust in that guidance. We know that you will take us to the top of the mountain and back down to wherever else you would have us to go. But bless us on this path. Bless us in this walk. Bless us in our ways and our means and our understanding. Keep us focused on righteousness and truth and love and peace and goodness and happiness, and don't let the toxicity consume our minds and our spirits. We ask, Lord, that you would be here tonight and to help us orchestrate this magnificent conversation. Put your intelligence and your wisdom in it and allow it to refresh our minds and our spirits on this walk of grand life. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, man.
Amen.
I know you felt that. You was just in it.
Amen. Yeah, I was in it.
I feel you there, bro. I felt you. I felt you in that one. Oh, yeah. That's an eye-opener right there, bro.
Hard to come out of it sometimes because it's so fulfilling to be in it.
Okay.
For those of you who live a prayer life, in the moments of the prayer, it's almost like the healing is taking place right as you're requesting the thing that you're requesting. You know, that's how it feels on the inside. That's when we overcome time. That's why prayer works. Prayer overcomes time because it creates the healing right now.
I got you.
The prayer creates the healing. The
Right
thought
now.
creates the reality right now.
Right
and
now.
that's the way this universe works. And that's what Minecraft has been teaching, since the beginning of its measure in the world, that we have been sharing with people that thoughts create reality. And if you live at this frequency and you are experiencing this reality, then how do you get your reality to go to a greater reality? You have to have a greater frequency. You have to have a greater thought. You can't think $30,000 and $40,000 thoughts and achieve 100,000. You can't think $100,000 thoughts and achieve millionaire status because they think in two different frequencies. They're moving differently. And so when you get your mind set on what you want, and when you get your mind set on what you want, thoughts create reality, then your mind will take you to that place, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're thinking wealth and prosperity, honor yourself with those thoughts. Those are blessed thoughts. Don't, what's coming to mind is so many people are running from wealth because they're just trying to fight for survival. But the same prayer that you pray to get $2,000 a month, you can pray that same prayer and get $20,000 a month. You see, the $30,000 and the millionaire guy got the same time and got the same prayers. But somebody's prayer is a little more powerful. Okay? And so I want you to begin to take note of how your prayers are manifested in your life. And when you understand how that's working, then you're going to start operating in the prayer world a little deeper so that you can create a little more magnificent outcome. Does that make sense, Jay?
Yes, it does.
Woo! I don't even know what I just said.
I do.
Yeah. However,
you got to change your mental.
you got to change your mindset. Got to change your mind. That is the key. The mind is the guiding point, the guiding post of your entire life. And you can choose negativity, and you can choose failure, and you can choose being behind, and you can choose being less than, and you can choose not being enough, and you can choose all of that stuff, and it will take you to your destiny.
Nowhere.
Nowhere. It'll take you to the fires of hell. But you can also choose, I can do this. I will do this. I have faith. This is what I want. I'm going to dream. I'm going to live I'm going to live my life in a great way. I'm not going to be subject to other people holding me down or other people not knowing where I'm going. I'm going to cast out those that are not for my good and move on to my good. You got to tell yourself where you want to go in life, because the mind is the guiding post. And if I'm not telling myself that, hey, I need to go ahead and figure out how to move on,
Right.
then what am I telling myself? If I'm not telling myself if I want to go forward, then what am I telling myself? Let's talk about toxicity tonight.
Ooh.
And it's a word that is powerful.
It can be.
It's powerful. But it seems to be in a negative direction.
I always think that way.
What do we do about toxicity, Jay?
Well, first of all, you got to recognize it. And tonight's show is not to blame anybody just for it. It's just recognizing it. Because I don't want to stay on a negative. But one of the things I can tell you, even I had toxic ways. And I'm going to start it with me, because I know people get offended quickly and when they hear this word toxic, because they heard it already and they didn't want to claim it. It's not just not claiming it. Understand your behavior. And again, if you're doing these things, this could be toxic. Just let you know that you was me at one time. Is when you say, I know when a person does this what it mean, because a person did me in that way. And I still held on to that negativeness that person gave me. Well, believe it or not, even though they put me through it, now I became toxic because I'm pushing it back on somebody else. Now, I'm just bringing reality to you because I've done it enough, and now when I'm starting to deal with other people and they're bringing it to me, I'm not tolerating it.
Right.
So it doesn't make me better than them at all. It just makes me more knowledgeable to know that's not what I want. Because what they did to you, please understand, it was for you to grow like I had to, and mature and start looking at things differently, not of the same. Because if you look at it the same, you're going to get the same.
Right.
Okay? Well, he stay out all night. That's what it means. Well, let me tell you something. If a person argue with you and they had to get away with you because of that argument, that does not mean they was out there doing something other than what your girlfriend told you. What happened to your girlfriend might not happen to you because of the fact that that's a different relationship. She just hurt, and she want to push that hurt off. That's what people do. Hurt people hurt people. So now she pushed her toxicity ways of the relationship that she had because that's what she's used to and that's what she wants. Back in the day, I used to call some crazy girls toxic because we used to argue, fight, and then great makeup sex. Sex. Anyway, that's toxic.
Right.
Because that's not the best sex. It was just the fact that you was able to make up with that person and you thought of it that way.
Right.
My whole thing is the perception is I had issues.
Right.
We had issues. And now that I'm seeing so many issues around everybody and everybody staying in a very negative tone about half the stuff, I seen recently, Kraft. Somebody said, don't ever date a man that got CDLs or marry a man that got CDLs.
Okay.
Because they're going to go out of town, they're going to do this, and they're going to do that. And I was listening to her, and I said, she's telling all this stuff. I just want to punch her in the throat.
Right. Right.
Because you telling all this, that's not everybody, but that was your experience.
Right.
And if you don't want to marry another man that got CDLs, that's fine. But don't put everybody down that got CDLs, because there's a lot of women that got them now too. So don't just put everybody in the damn category because you've been through hell your damn self.
Right.
That don't make you a spokesperson for nothing. It just makes you a stronger person. Keep that in your mind. Quit putting it out into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line, he did you like that. And I hate to say it, I don't know what all happened.
Right.
But I get to hear what you got to say. And it brings me to a toxic environment listening to you bring down a CDL class, which I got CDLs. I can't say I just drive trucks, but I manage.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is by me having CDL, I respect all my drivers. I respect everybody that ever worked for me and the ones that just drove for other people.
Right.
So I got offended by what she said. But yes, it's commonly known because you travel. They might, if they single, but I know a lot of married people that never cheated. And they take their wives with them and they do other things. Now, obviously, she wasn't one of them because she's so negative. So I know she wasn't one. But she was obviously on the other side. And that's why I don't like the word. Because the word holds toxic things that can really kill a relationship. It can kill a spirit. But it's not just in a relationship. I had relationships with people in business that was toxic.
Right.
I knew they was slippery than can of worms. I had to do business with them.
Okay.
I didn't like their outlook on things. It wasn't of mine. I have to learn how to work with people.
Right.
Okay? It doesn't change the fact that I did not like some of the things that they do. But I have to understand it ain't going to work how I want it. And everybody's not going to be like me.
Right.
But the best thing is me to understand other people and not just label them as toxic, but take the time to know them, and then they fall in the category themselves by behavior.
Yeah.
Not just because I dated a toxic girl and she's just acting like it. What she did to me, put her in that bucket. What you gonna do to me, put you in your own bucket. And I feel like a lot of times people get that mixed up. Because if they say this, that's what it is. No. They did this because of that relationship. That's another relationship.
Right.
And you got to look at everybody somewhat like that. And you be like, well, you will never get to where you're going. No, I changed myself a long time ago. What helped me get to where I'm going is knowing what I do and what I accept.
Right.
And I don't have to accept that.
Right. You don't have to accept that.
No.
That's exactly right.
That's a choice.
Exactly right.
And they don't always get it. And now my whole thing is to talk about it in a way that we can understand it better than me just tell you about the toxic relationships that I had. And the negativeness that they called me all the time, and everything in their life was negative, and they felt like, you know, they need to do this, and they never looked at themselves. Well, I didn't call all them out either, because again, that was just them, and the few times that I talked to them about it, they didn't see it.
You know what's interesting is that calling people out can make them feel like you're toxic.
You know something? They didn't directly say it, but they said it later.
They said it later.
Well, you the only one see it like that. And I said, the only one to see that you always talk about every damn body else. I mean, what are you saying?
Right.
I'm just saying, you see the negative in me. Nobody else do. Everybody want to be around me. Everybody this. I said, well, truthfully, everybody want to be around you, not just because you're toxic, because you're giving. Everybody want to use somebody somewhere along the line. And everybody want to hurt somebody. My whole thing is just to know you, to be a better you. Now, I like to say that I know you can be more positive. Just negative stuff keep happening, and that's what you keep giving me. I don't think you're just a negative person. You just keep talking in that tone. Didn't want to hear it. Thought it was me. Stop talking to me. Mm-hmm. Next thing I know, I get a phone call a while later, and I ain't gonna even say how long. I'd like to say 3-4 months. And somebody else brought it to my attention that I'm kind of negative, and I thought about you. So I'm like, hold on, you making me sound toxic. But I'm toxic because I told you. No, I wasn't scared of you. A good friend can tell somebody something that they don't care to hear. Because again, it wasn't about me hurting your damn feelings. It's about me being honest enough to let you know. For you can see it in a different way. Mm-hmm. And when you don't see it that way, I don't have to sit here and beat you like a dead horse. I can step back and let somebody else tell you the same thing I said. For you can realize that I was just a true friend on the beginning that didn't try to put you down.
Yeah, you know, that happens a lot in the world. You try to help somebody and give them some information, and you told them exactly this thing, but they heard it, you know, from somebody, from a coworker, or they heard it from Oprah Winfrey, or they heard it from social media, and now they excited about it and believe it. You were like, man, I've been telling you that for years, you know. You know, this word toxicity, let's just go and take it to its root word, just so that we can broaden the understanding of it here today.
Go for it.
Toxicity comes from something that's toxic.
Mm.
Toxic is poison.
Yes.
It's poisonous. And there are some people who are hurt who are toxic. There are some people who are carrying their pain, and they're never going to get over that. They're never going to get over the fact that this person did X to them, did Y to them. Right. They're in pain. And you have to heal from your pain in order to come back to, you know, to status quo. True. So hurt people can be toxic, right? We've all heard the term misery loves company.
Yes.
Right? Miserable people can be toxic. And you don't want to hear their pain stories, and you know you love them and you care for them, but you don't want to hear all that nonsense. You don't want to hear all that negativity. You can hear the first, 5 minutes of the story and figure the whole thing out. You ain't handling your business.
Hello.
But you want me to listen to this sad story. And so liars can be toxic. You know, if somebody lied to you and you can't have faith in what they say to you, and they're always bending the truth and they never stay on the what's real, that person's toxic. You can't have them in your life. Cheaters are toxic. And I'm not just talking about interpersonal cheaters. I'm talking about business people, and I'm talking about down at the church and all kind of stuff, you know. You cannot have cheaters around. They're toxic. Takers can oftentimes be toxic. We know that they need, we know that they might be hurt, we know that they want potentially, you know, something bigger than what they got, or they want some of what we have. But if people are always taken, that means they're never given. And there's an imbalance there. And when that imbalance happens, it's going to rub you the wrong way.
Correct.
So we have to be careful of takers. And I'm going to just say these two words, and I ain't going to repeat them anymore.
Okay,
but players and hoes are toxic. Players and hoes are toxic, and you know we can't give them credit where there's credit's due. What you're doing is you're using your bodies and you're using your sexuality to go out and tamper with environments, and you'd be tampering with married folk environments, and you'd be tampering with people who trying to start a relationship, and you'd be tampering with your ex-boyfriend, and he ain't got no love for you. He want to take advantage of you and beat you up and all that other good stuff. Let's stop being in toxic relationships that are sexual.
I mean, yeah, but to a degree. To a degree.
And, you know, we all, this is for us all. Right?
I mean, I agree.
We are all
some of them ain't really toxic. Some of them are just aware of what they like to do. And I just want to know.
It could be toxic. It can be.
Right. It can be pleasurable.
You know, there are many other things that can be poisonous for you. There are lots of foods.
Oh, yeah.
Toxicity exists in foods and beverages.
Surely can.
And we have seen our people in particular poisoned by many of these new age foods, right?
Yes.
We need green leaves and vegetables, and we need beef and chicken, and we need good substances, but we found ourselves in the markets for fast foods. We found ourselves in the markets for frozen foods.
We've been sold.
We found ourselves in the market for all these quick fixes for nutrition, and they're doing nothing but poisoning us. I spent many years in the car business, 15 years in the car business actually, and in my 15 years, I saw so many fast-paced salespeople drinking energy drinks and eating, you know, fruit cakes and, you know, convenience store, vending machine type food, living on it.
Right.
You know, it's one thing to just get by for a meal, but you can't live without real meals and real food. And anything else that you put in your body that's not real food is toxic. It's going to have too much sugar, or it's going to have too much acidity, or it's going to have too much salt, and ultimately it's not going to have enough nutrition. These things are making us sick. We got to be careful about what we put into our bodies, right?
Correct.
We already know about the damaging relationships. I think the world is, to much degree, toxic. I think that there are many different genres of people that you could fall off into that just wouldn't do you any good. And sometimes you fall off into things and you don't learn that they're not good for you until sometime down the road. And when those things happen, when you wake up to the fact that they're toxic, when you wake up to the fact that they're not doing you any good, you have to change your course. Right. And, you know, we talked a little bit about, Jay and I had a discussion with our men's group on Wednesday night about the word toxicity. And Jay decided he wanted to bring it to the screen.
Yes.
And so, you know, we're talking from a level of, a heightened level of awareness about what this word really means. And, you know, we started talking about last night about, you know, what happens when, you know, it starts out good. Everything is going well. And then at some point, it becomes toxic.
Yes.
And, you know, we have to pay attention to what's happening And, ultimately, when a relationship, especially a relationship, when it becomes toxic, and it could be a job, it could be any number of things. You involved in a new organization, or you went to a new church, or you found a new team of people to do something with. But at a certain point, it becomes toxic. And what happens in that moment of awareness of toxicity, it's got to be that this isn't for me anymore.
Yeah, there's no.
This doesn't feel right anymore. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like I'm not getting through. I feel like there's no more opportunity for growth. Whatever those questions are that prompts you to realizing that this is not for you anymore. If you are going to a particular place, a job, a relationship, anything, and it doesn't feel good, then you need to check the toxicity levels in that. If you go to a job every day and it don't feel good, what's toxic about it? It could be the job itself. You're doing something you absolutely hate. It could be the people. They're always gnawing at you. They're always talking about you. They never give you an opportunity. It could be the people, right? And so let's start to take a look at what is really upsetting me in this environment. Because if it's an upsetting environment, that means trust me, there absolutely is something and somewhere else better for you to be.
I totally agree. Now, one of the things I can tell you, I had that happen to me many different times. And a lot of times, your perception make you think it's more toxic than you really sitting back and really observing everything. Because you automatically group it that way. I had a controller come in. And I'm, in my line of business, dealing with controllers is kind of a good thing, bad thing. They got the numbers. They don't know the people. They know the numbers. Okay. So when you're dealing with them, a lot of times they throw things at you that can be challenging. But again, if you know your side of the productivity of the people, you can easily work with them, and then it's easy to see it's toxic because all they want is these numbers.
That's all they want.
It's just the numbers. Yeah. Well, my whole thing is if I know my production and I know my job, I also know that I know where it's at. So when they give me the numbers, I know to dig down and know where I need to adjust.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Now, that's when we work good as a unit. But when we don't work good as a unit, they're coming and they're not giving me direction. They're giving me numbers and telling me where I need to go. Then I got to sort through everything. That's where it gets more toxic because now I got more negative things on me. I got her on my neck, and then I got what I already had on me. And then it could be a lot. And again, a lot of high-ranking positions, they don't work as hard. They're mentally strained because productivity is everything and numbers is the bottom line. So I had to learn differently and do differently and stop getting my feelings into it because I know about all these things going on. They don't really want to hear all that.
Right.
They want to see an end result.
Right.
Since you know it, fix it.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing I heard. So a lot of board meetings and things that I heard, if you don't have a thick skin, you will have a hurt feeling. Because you think you're going in there and telling them, they're going to tell you. And then they're going to put your job on the line. Then you're going to feel like a fool.
Yeah. Because
you thinking you standing up for everybody. You can't stand if you ain't working.
Yeah, thick skin will certainly help you overcome a toxic environment.
Right.
But those people with thick skin, they have a detonation point.
Or get fired, boy.
They got a point where they ain't gonna take no more, and that's where the stuff can get out of hand. Yeah. And that's where people, lose it.
I think the other thing to get you is they're keeping it real. Go in there, keeping it real. Yeah, I'd have been fired a long time ago. Go in there, telling everybody, I'm just gonna keep it real.
What I ain't gonna do, and what
whoever told you that was a joke. I do that jokingly all the time.
Yeah.
Don't you bring your button to me and say that crap. I promise you, it ain't gonna end well. I ain't gonna tell you gonna get fired because that's them. Yeah. I'm just telling you, they don't care for all that. It's always been about numbers. It's always been about you being on top of your game. And again, a lot of times we have to struggle so hard to be on top anyway.
And let's talk about that, Jay, because what that is that's situational toxicity. Right? That's where, okay, I'm doing my job, everything's going good, and all of a sudden I get hit, bombarded, sideswiped by a group of people who don't care my interests, how tired I am, what happened last night, last week, etc. They don't care. And so in the moments that they are interrogating me, I have to have the thick skin.
Yes.
And I have to realize that this situation is just, in another 20 minutes, they'll have all their answers, In other words, you don't allow their bombardment to put you off your game. You know what I mean?
Right.
To take you off of your path, because that situation could cause you to explode. You could easily say, hey, you don't know what the hell I've been going through down here, and all of a sudden you're talking to the boss the wrong way. You know what I mean? So, there is a toxicity that can pull something negative out of you, and you don't want to get to that place. So you got to realize in those moments that, hey, let me get the questions answered. I know they don't realize it. There's got to be a little bit of compromised empathy in those moments in order to get through it, right? But what's important is to realize that this too soon shall end. That's why it's called a situational toxicity.
Correct.
Right? It's going to come and it's going to go. You're going to have to, if you don't like your baby's daddy or your baby's mama, you're going to have to communicate with them next week. And so no matter how potentially ugly or toxic that could be, that now you got to prepare yourself for this situational toxicity. And so you're telling yourself going in, hey, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I ain't going to say nothing. I'm going to hold my cool. Ain't nothing going to blow my top. I'm just going to do what I got to do, right? There are situations that you have to prepare yourself to go into. There are toxic environments that you have to say, you know what? I ain't going to let this get the best of me. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be cool. And those build character, but those are anomalies that do happen throughout life. And we have to prepare for toxic moments. Unfortunately, accidents happen. And they can feel very toxic, especially if you still road raging with the person who you had the accident with. Right? That can become a very toxic situation. And we've known them to lead to death. But you have to say to yourself, I'm going to hold my cool. I'm not going to get out of the car. I'm not going to cause no trouble. I'm going to wait till the officer get here, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, I think social media got a lot to do with that too.
Yeah.
People put themselves out there in social media and they don't mean it. But again, you're asking outside people to get in your business that don't know your business, but you're quick to go to them like they care. That could be a toxic situation because you don't mean it to be.
Yeah.
But you're giving them something that they can prey on and you don't even understand what's going to be coming back. My whole thing is work with the person that you're with.
All right.
If you're mad with your girl, work that out with your girl. But you go on Facebook and you want to post different situations you'll go through, it could be a toxic situation because now everybody's judging you. And then you get mad talking about how y'all got a right to tell me something. And you posted this stuff. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I always tell people, if you got a private life, keep it private. Cat Williams has not showed his kids for a very long time because he wanted to keep them out of that limelight.
Yeah.
And he stays in that limelight because that's his business.
Yeah.
And I really feel like now that everybody want to be famous, everybody want to be rich, it ain't going to get you where you think it is because it's a process. You don't understand the process because you can be famous without being rich and you can be destroyed. Because again, a lot of followers watch you do something stupid. It can get you a lot of notoriety. Now you already know. Now you want to be proper, you want to be right, but you don't even know how because you've never been trained that way.
Yeah, and let me just go and bring this up right now.
So I like you. Can I say something to you?
I recently, there was a gentleman, and y'all will probably know the name of him. I think it'll come to me in a minute. Independent rapper was somewhere having a party overseas or in another country or island somewhere, and he was slapping on some ass, right? Okay. But his girlfriend happened to see that clip, or maybe his wife, I don't know, and she saw the clip, and the whole world went crazy at him. I mean, the whole world is down on this brother. What is his name? He's an independent rapper. Charlemagne, not Charlemagne, it was Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper was in some island playing with little ass, and that video footage got back to the world. And this is the point I want to make here.
Go ahead.
That video footage is messy stuff.
It is.
And I would encourage us to stay away from messy people.
I bet it is.
Now, who put that man's video into the world population so that his close friends and wives and all his confidants could see him tapping ass.
Somebody wanted some views.
That's a messy person.
Somebody wanted some views.
The
And probably
toxicity
got it.
and we're going to talk about this in another show, but the toxicity going on in the world in the way of electronics is absolutely horrible.
I agree.
And you can get caught saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. I think Donald Trump was one of the first main victims. He was in a bus talking to somebody. He had no expectation at the microphone. And he said, oh, yeah, I just grabbed her. I just grabbed her. I just grabbed her body. I just grabbed her body.
We're going to the technology thing. You ain't even got to say it now. They got AI that can mimic your voice, sound just like you.
Yeah, they got AI that can mimic your voice and sound just like you.
So somebody can put something up.
Yeah,
like it's you.
And slander you.
Yeah, people can do all kinds of
It
stuff.
is
The world can be toxic, and I think
totally
we all
toxic.
need to be careful of our personal presence in social media.
I would agree.
I think
and watch people that's filming.
Yeah, and women, you oftentimes don't understand that if your social media, if your Instagram and your Facebook page are full of pictures of you in bodysuits and bathing suits and with your tail hanging out, believe me, that is going to be toxic in terms of how people look at you. Now, you might not mind people looking at you like that because you're looking for a 10%er. But if you're looking for a good man, a good regular man, he ain't going to want to ever see you with your ass hanging out on social media. It becomes toxic, ladies, whether you know it or not. It's cute. It's fine. They're awestruck images, but the Lord told us about putting images before him. And I understand what you're doing, but I don't know if you would want your own daughter to do what you are doing. And so it's just an opportunity to be aware, am I being toxic even in my own social environments? I just don't believe that a woman should be all out there like that. I'm probably not going to take a woman into my world who has been all out there like that.
I agree, but I also would say, even though there is out there, there's a lot of toxic men that feel like they can feel on you and do things because of how you display.
There's a lot of toxic men.
And that's the toxicity of a person, of a man character that's flawed. Because again, no matter how she dressed, I always want to say, you remember, it's somebody's daughter.
That's right.
So now you grabbing on somebody because she almost naked and this, that, the other, you also disrespecting.
Yes.
Now you can look at her and think in your mind about how she should know better, this, that, the other. But when you start grabbing on somebody because of the fact they're exposed, please understand that you showing your true character as well. And that's a toxic way of saying that you need help.
Yeah.
Because again, no matter how she dressed, it could spin a conversation, that's what you want, or it can spin you to push away. But to touch, now you got a lack of control, and that goes to a toxicity that shows that you got a bad behavior.
Yeah.
And that's where you're toxic. And that's why I like how you brung it, because, again, it ain't just women. It's definitely men as well.
Yeah.
I can't say all women need to dress this way. That's going to be between you and your partner or whoever you're dating. I do know you all women got some girlfriends. Y'all need to cut. Because some of y'all girlfriends need to tell y'all behinds. That don't look good. That's just ridiculous. And y'all ain't. Those are toxic friends. You should have somebody say, girl, that's a little too much, this, that, and the other. Because, again, you want to be respected. And when your girlfriends don't tell you that, it's because they don't see you like that. And they want you to look like a clown to make them look good. That's another toxic situation.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing some out.
You know what, Jay? I was with some friends out of town one time. I'm going to try to keep this general. And me and my lady and, several other people were around, to include her mother. And so we went to a dinner, all of us. Just went to dinner one night, and one of the young ladies wore this kind of chiffon outfit, right? And it was short. We was in Miami, but short. And every time she tried to get in the car, ass come popping out, and sitting at the table, anybody can look under the seat, and it just was just a problem throughout the entire evening. And we got to some of her family's house, and the auntie asked the lady, said, "Did you bring some more clothes?" So,
That's Auntie.
needless to say, Auntie, provided her with a little quilt comforter, put over herself. But
She was tired of seeing it.
but you can't take you can't take everybody everywhere you go. Some
you
people
can't.
just might not know how to dress, and they might not know how to take care of themselves. They may not know how to act. Right? Some people just don't know how to act in certain places, and so you can't take, not that they're toxic, but the two environments don't fit. And if the two environments don't fit, you probably shouldn't introduce one to the other, because you know what you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's just to say that we have to manage our relationships so that one doesn't entangle another. Right? You're not gonna take your trap friends to visit your job. Right? Right? And because
ain't nobody go to my job.
right. But we are living lives now where we could be wealthy. We could be sitting on millions of dollars, but go to our mama house, and who lived next door? You know what I'm saying? The man lived next door, and you grew up with him, so you might be in all types of environments.
Right.
We live dynamic lives as black men. When you find success, you might find yourself back near the trap, or back near some people who have no respect for class and high society, or even money, for that example. And so you can't take one into the other, because they just might infiltrate and make it a toxic environment.
I agree.
I think we have done this subject some justice.
We did.
One of the very first things Jay said as he started to introduce some of his concerns tonight is he said, "I'm tired of crying." And that doesn't necessarily mean tears, but you knew that your mama wouldn't like this dude. You already know that he ain't a keeper, but yet you kept it, right? You already recognized there was toxicity there, but you put up with it. And so ultimately, we're creating our own levels of toxicity by choosing to not reject toxicity.
Correct.
We got to take control over these things that will bring us down, these people that will bring us down, this negative energy, these haters and takers and cheaters and liars and all of these hurt people. You got to find a way to protect yourself from them. They may not mean you no harm, but what they will do when they get in your lives may be harmful. And so let's keep our minds and our hearts on high alert. That's what this show has brought me to as I prepared for it, and I talked about it tonight. I am on high alert to protecting myself in every way. I now carry a gun with me all day, every day, and I've never done that before. But that is what the toxicity of the world has caused me to do, to prepare to protect myself. And so I'm not going to go down into any
Squabble.
I'm not going into no nonsense unprepared. I'm going to always be prepared. And I think that's the nature of the game here, is that toxicity exists in the world, but we have to make sure we're prepared for all of it. And that means vetting, potential daters. That means, keeping your house and your home and your family under high levels of security. Right. We've got people shooting in schools, and, if you see something out of whack, you got to call it out. If you see a man walking into a schoolhouse with a long bag, then you need to let somebody know what's going on. And that could be any number of things. If you see somebody walking through the store waving a gun or something, don't just run out of there. Let somebody know. We got to protect each other from these levels of toxicity. It's happening all in the world. If you see somebody doing something, blow the whistle. Anonymously if you have to. Whatever you got to do. But let's find a way to protect our world, to protect our homes, to protect our families, to protect ourselves. Because toxicity kills and destroys.
It can. But please, because of these times, be cautious.
Be cautious.
I got cameras at my house.
Right.
And every blue moon, I drop my son off, come back to the crib, and I sit. And I be in front of the computer, and I can see my monitors, and I can see what's going on. And I seen a car pull up behind my truck. And they've been smashing windows and stealing out of people's vehicles. I don't normally keep a lot in my vehicle, but bottom line, I seen this car pull up in my driveway, but it didn't pull in to block my driveway, and the person got out. I've been strapped for a long time.
Yeah.
So they ain't just what's happening today. So I'm looking at the cameras and said, I know this fool don't want this smoke. Went out there, and it was my son getting his wallet out.
Yeah.
Mistakes can happen when you get too overly anxious.
Right.
And that's where I feel like we're getting to. We're getting to a point where we're getting anxious to do something. I never want to do anything.
Yeah.
My whole thing is to protect. So I would like to say sometimes we starting to get amped up. We're hearing things that's coming, and you get amped up. Calm down, because you don't want to be the one making them bigger mistakes. Because it can happen. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying not to have a gun. That's going to be your choice. But if you have a gun, learn how to shoot it respectfully, no safety, to keep other people safe.
And listen, that's how you manage toxicity. Prepare yourself.
Prepare.
If you know women without a piece, help them get a piece, and take them down to the gun range and make sure they know how to protect themselves. I've been to the gun range with several friends who had no knowledge, and now they can protect themselves.
Yes.
Right? Because that weapon doesn't forgive. It doesn't forgive a lack of knowledge.
Teaching a person how to fish. They know how to fish from here or more.
That's exactly right.
You want to protect the person. You know you got a gun. You're not going to be around that person all the time. But again, if you can take them down there and take them through a gun course, so they can know. Because I promise you, too many people have been watching TV, shooting guns sideways and all this. That's TV land. It's all cute. You'll be shooting, won't be hitting anybody of importance.
Yeah, this show has been challenging for me because we're talking about a lot of things that hinder our ability to drive forward in life, and that can be real risks in the world. We just want to share these ideas so that you can become aware. Yes. And becoming aware means we're pulling some positivity out of this conversation. This is not just a beat down, tear down conversation. This is about here are the things to be aware of. There are a lot of grandmothers getting taken by salespeople. There are a lot of mechanics taking people who don't know. Don't go down to the mechanic without somebody who has no experience, because you're going to be in a toxic environment and they can take advantage of you. If you don't know, they'll take advantage of you. And that's what we're talking about, becoming aware. And, take the wisdom, take the intelligence, take the knowledge with you so that you don't have to put yourself in a position where you need to be tired of crying. Right?
I like that.
All right. This has been Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay.
Yes.
And of course, we want to thank you folks for being here with us tonight. We're here every Thursday from 7 to 8, Facebook. Yes. And you might even catch us live every once in a while. Yeah. But we're on every major platform. And of course, please like, share, subscribe, continue to come back and see us. We hope this has been beneficial to your spirit. We hope you've got something good out of it, something new to become aware of, so that you can eliminate any levels of toxicity in your life. Never forget, folks, that we love you. We appreciate you.
Yep.
And with that, we are out.
Ain't no last calls here.